Hello and welcome back to another episode of Vikings Happy Hour. Fresh off round one of the NFL draft, the Vikings stand pat and take their guy, Donovan Jackson. Nick, you've called it. I know you made your prediction like a week ago, but really you kind of called it a little bit before then, I would say. Your pre-draft process for how you kind of narrowed in on these prospects was impeccable. So kudos to you. But I'm going to pass it over to Miles first and get his instant reaction to the pick, man.
It's been almost 24 hours.
Well, I mean, yeah, but life is busy, and
Yes.
we just kind of roll with the punches here on Vikings Happy Hour. But the O line is solidified for JJ McCarthy. Like, how are you feeling about this pick now? It's not as hyped as I've seen you, by the way. You have been when we drafted Jordan Addison that year.
Well, that's different.
Well, it's way different. Like I think someone had tweeted about the fact that like when you pick a non-flashy position, whether it's the trenches, linebacker, any of those, like even safety to a degree, it's not as exciting. It's not as sexy. You're not getting you're not like your usual, your like typical fan isn't going to go on YouTube and go watch O-line tape. Like that's just not.
Though some of Donovan Jackson stuff is like that.
Well, I was going to say some of us are degenerates though, right? Like I think that's a difference.
Way to call Nick out.
Yeah.
Go change, man. Go change. But then you got your casual fans, like, right? Oh, you got it. I'll be back.
Nick, take it away, man.
Yeah, no, I think Miles is 100% right, and also we can't compare a wide receiver for Miles with any other prospect. But yeah, no, I think it's very exciting. I mean, you just have to look at the bigger picture, and why I kind of honed in on interior offensive line is just if you look at when teams draft first-round quarterbacks, the goal is to continue to build and make it as easy as possible, around them. And so you're investing in JJ McCarthy. You want him to be as successful as he could possibly be. Put on easy mode for him. I mean, he was accused of being this handoff merchant coming out of college. That's what they're striving to do. Like, make it so that you have a great run game. Make it so that way it's easy for him in the pocket. Give him time to find those wide receivers downfield. And then as maybe he progresses as he gets better, that's when you start to take off those training wheels and maybe make it more investments elsewhere in the team. But by
the way, take us through your process a little bit, because like I know this is a hobby for you, right? Like we kind of do this on the side, but
right.
Like, I mean, even let's say even if they didn't go with Donovan Jackson, I feel like you had the next couple guys nailed down behind that. So like take us through the process of kind of how you identified Donovan Jackson as the guy that you thought that they were going to go get.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it really, looking back at the Kevin O'Connell's comments at the owners' meetings, I think when he was talking about the potential positions, he really highlighted, I didn't really think corner was a need beforehand. I was kind of validated, when he kind of talks about Isaiah Rodgers being an every down player and just looking at the stats. But he really was openly talking about Blake Rendell as being, a player that they wanted to bring in competition for. And usually Kevin O'Connell is someone that is pretty, complimentary. And so when he starts saying, like, openly questioning, player and going back to his comments too about needing to fix the interior line during the offseason, it was very clear that interior offensive line was going to be a position that at least they wanted to challenge, Brandell on and take a guy early. Then you start like studying the draft. And so the way I kind of look at it is I'm not I'll watch some film, but I'm not a film expert. I think the rest of the guys, you, Miles, and Ryan are a lot better at film than I am. But I like to really synthesize information from the experts. And so really honing in on, what Dane Brugler is saying in, Zerline on NFL.com, Brandon Thorne, different people, what you guys are saying. And then, local beat guys like Alec Lewis is great. And really saying like, okay, who are they looking at? Who are they targeting? And then just kind of with the draft's unfolding, you look at the rumors, look at the speculation, looks like Gray Zabel is going to be, Gray Zabel to Seattle was very hot and trendy pick, just like the last few weeks, just because you think about that Kubiak zone running scheme and Gray Zabel's perfect for that. And then you look at who else might be available. Donovan Jackson just made sense for that area of the draft and what the Vikings are looking for. You also have to think about, the Vikings might be looking to be more versatile in their run game. They've been this outside zone team. both the Rams and 49ers have transitioned from, more being very outside zoned, including more gap, and power run in there. And Donovan Jackson's kind of a perfect blend of being a guy that can execute the zone running stuff. He has that athletic ability, but he's a mauler and a big guy in the run game too. So he's perfect guy to help them kind of transition while still being able to effectively run, the zone scheme stuff that they're known for. So between all those things, it just made a lot of sense for Jackson to be the potential guy that either they take at 24. I thought they might, try to trade back a little bit and get him. But when we got through last night and he was literally the only, interior player left on the board there, it made a lot of sense for them, to stick and pick and just roll with the guy that they felt comfortable with.
I know there were some fans out there after the pick because I feel like when an offensive lineman kind of gets picked, your initial reaction isn't jumping around like you got Jordan Addison or even like a cornerback, right? Like sometimes those will get you excited. I feel like you just kind of sit and wait and you're like, yeah, this is a good logical pick, but it's hard to get excited when you see like the Packers go wide receiver right before then. But there were a lot of fans too that were like, okay, we pick our guy and then right behind us, Houston trades to the Giants. So like, why didn't Kwesi make that move? And I don't have the trade in front of me. Maybe you know it off the top of your head, but it wasn't that much to move back.
I think it was 99 and then a third round pick next year. And what I would say about that is if you look at, there's some prominent Texans fans and stuff too, just like our team. And one of the guys, a guy goes by Texans Cap. I forget his real name, but he works for Over the Cap. And so he's like he's a analytics guy himself. And he was mad that we did because he wanted Donovan Jackson for the Texans. And so when you're talking about these guys that are like analytic guys being upset about, missing out on Donovan Jackson, and he got the trade down and everything. So traditionally, we're looking at it and, trade down's always better. Like, I'm usually under that belief as well, but sometimes you just got to stick and pick your guy, especially when it looks like there's a cliff on a talent drop off. And so I can understand fans saying that and being upset. And it's not like as you and Miles both talk about the sexist pick, but when we were going back and looking at the Detroit game or the Rams game and our offensive line was getting destroyed and we were all upset and saying we have to invest in the trenches and do all that. Yes. Yeah, that sounds a lot. That sounds super important during the playoffs, and then it comes down a few months later and it comes to draft and like, oh no, we want playmakers, we want the sexy pick, and sometimes you just got to eat your veggies and take the good player, and that's what this draft has been so far, and I think that we're going to be excited about it in the long run.
Well, and I think too when you look at it, like not only did it fill a need, but when you look at kind of what the offensive line, especially interior guard play, is going for on the open market, like what did we see Aaron Banks go for?
$20 million.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe it's to a point where it's like I mean, guard is never going to be a premium position, but they're getting paid really, really well. And if Donovan Jackson can provide that level of baseline play for what's he going to make? $5-6 million,
right? Yep.
For 5 years, right? Because you'll get the 5th-year option on him too. Like, I think I actually commend Kwesi for how he handled yesterday. I think it would have been really easy to just sit there at that spot. The Giants want to come up for a quarterback. Clearly, it looks like they were calling the Packers too. The Eagles at one point were calling the Packers to move up. So there was obviously teams interested in moving up for that spot, but he decided that, their mission this offseason was fix the trenches, offense and defense. They did it on the defensive side with their free agent moves, and there was just one hole left on the offensive side, and they fixed it, like plain and simple. And so it's not going to be fun for us the next, couple days of the NFL draft, because I know there was some speculation that maybe we would move some 26 picks so we could play around more in this draft. But, to your point, I like the veggie analogy, right? Like that's kind of what this draft is going to be. We gotta find these players at these positions and build the best infrastructure around JJ McCarthy. And holy crap, man. I mean, when you look at that Vikings offense on paper, I don't know how you can't get excited. JJ McCarthy's got to be sitting at TCO Performance Center like it's like rookie mode on Madden for him. You got one of the top 5 offensive lines on paper, right? Assuming they all are healthy and play well.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Darrisaw comes back from that injury. Aaron Jones and Trey Mason is a really good 1-2 punch at running back. Who knows? Maybe they'll take another guy here in the draft. And then you got Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison. I like the Rondell Moore signing. I mean, you got all these playmakers. It's the pressure will be on JJ to like actually execute in this offense. But if any other quarterback has been any indication, like with lesser of an infrastructure around them, like JJ McCarthy is going to thrive.
Yeah, and I think JJ too has the right mentality for this. I mean, if you just take a look at that, how he approached Michigan, he's kind of a guy that has I'm going to be a gunslinger on third down, or I'm going to do what it takes to make the big play. But when it comes to, the first and second down or whatever, he's perfectly fine, handing the ball off and running smash mouth, all game long, as long as it wins the game. And I think that's always been his mentality, which made him so great for that Michigan team is like, during the draft process, so many people said, oh, well, he only had, nine pass attempts against Penn State. Well, they're going up against Abdul Carter and all these players on Penn State's defense, and they just ran it down their throats. I mean, he was perfectly happy to come out of there with a win. So I think when you have a quarterback that's not saying it's got to be all about me, and he just wants to win, and you just keep adding on those players, and take the ego out of it, it can really open up things for your offense.
Yeah, 100%. And if you surveyed every quarterback in the NFL, I doubt you'll find many that are going to be mad that they have to hand the ball off that many times a game and ends up a win, right? Like, and to your point too, right? I remember talking to you last offseason before we even drafted McCarthy, and people were kind of, he just doesn't throw that much. We don't have a big sample size on him, but like when he had to throw, he was good.
Right.
And so like, I guess I don't see that argument for fans. You want more of it. Okay, fine. He'll show you this year that he's capable of doing that stuff. So, just some stats quick on Donovan Jackson, just for the people listening. Last year, obviously switched over to tackle, but 126 pass blocking snaps, 2 quarterback pressures, no sacks allowed, and an 86 pass block grade from PFF. So, like, I think that's the other underrated thing about Donovan Jackson is not only is he going to be the guard of the future, left guard of the future? Maybe not too, though. Like when you think about Brian O'Neill potentially getting older, he's had a couple injuries. Would they ever look to maybe move him to right tackle? Christian Darrisaw, I doubt he'll fill in at left tackle for Darrisaw if he's not ready.
No, imagine Scully does that, or we might want to call him Scully. I don't know.
We'll call him Scully on the show. Sounds cooler.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Kevin O'Connell, since he's gotten here, has preached versatility, and Donovan Jackson has that as well. So it's a really good pick. I didn't want to call it a safe pick. I think it's a good pick, especially how the offensive linemen were coming off the board.
I think it's a good pick, but at the end of the day, too, we do have to look at his Kwesi. I mean, we love what he's done in free agency. I like a lot of his like big picture moves, but I think anyone would say that he needs to improve in the draft. And if you take a look at a guy like Donovan Jackson, I think that he's like one of those players. When I was a big fan of Emeka Egbuka as well, it's just like incredibly, safe, solid player. Like it'd be very shocking to find out that Donovan Jackson was just a complete whiff, that he wasn't a solid contributing starting guard in the NFL. He's got like a 7-foot wingspan. He's quick. He was on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. We didn't see him, test at the combine or his pro day, but there was rumors that last year he had like a 1.59 10-yard split, which would have like broken the record at the combine. And then he's been tracked at going 20 miles per hour.
20 miles,
in game before. So we're talking about someone who's got incredible length, size. I think he bench pressed like 32 times, which is, for that wingspan, we know the longer your arms are, the harder it is for you to, bench. And he's he did that successfully too. So he's a really, I mean, there's a reason why he was a 5-star number 1 guard recruit in the country.
Yeah,
when he was coming into college. So if he can continue refining his skill set and add on to it, I mean, he's got significant potential, but I think his floor is also really high as well, just from what we've seen him be able to do against high level competition. So, I'm really excited about this pick for them. I mean, I think, doing the Thanos and completing the offensive line, all capturing all that is a great move for both the run and pass game. And will be interesting to see, how they approach the remaining of the draft with just these 3 picks left.
Yeah, so as we wrap out the show here, let's talk quick. So they got a few picks left here, day 2 and day 3. Obviously, running back was once a need. I'd argue that it's not particularly a need, but in a running back rich class, maybe you want to take somebody. Obviously, defensive line, if you want to look at the depth there. Corner, I think, is still a need, whether or not you believe the Asante Samuel rumors of him coming in after. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But who are some guys, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, who are some guys that maybe you are interested in as we head into day 2 of the NFL draft?
Yeah, so I guess I'll also plug my 50-man
Do it.
Big
I wish I could put it on the screen.
Yeah, so we should have thought about that ahead of time. But I follow me on Twitter. It's there. So I basically try to do the exercise where I wanted to guess all the Vikings draft picks with just 50 guesses and 50 players. And so I correctly got Donovan Jackson. But looking at day 2 here, I tweeted out this morning. One guy I think it's on my radar is Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. He is a kind of tweener, defensive tackle, defensive end from Georgia. He was a 4-star recruit coming out. He had the fastest 10-yard split for defensive lineman at the combine. He's never really put everything together, but he's still, kind of 21 years old. He came in on a 30 visit for the Vikings, and he has played up and down the defensive line at Georgia. So, you're talking about what are things Kwesi likes, those high athletic traits, versatile guys, who come from big programs. He's still young, so the fact that they brought him in only solidifies maybe their potential interest. I know a guy that Miles was big on is Andrew McUba. I think I'm pronouncing
the safety from Texas.
Yeah, safety from Texas. I think that he'd be, another really guy, or Billy Bowman, representing Ryan's interest here as well.
I thought you were going to mention the Texas D lineman Vernon
Broughton. Yeah, he was a late addition to the big board. He didn't test, and so he kind of threw under the radar.
Also, almost 24. That's like against Kwesi's policy.
Well, I think for mid-round picks, he's adjusted that, right? Because like Mekhi Blackman was like 25 and things, but he could be another guy that could be on the radar as well. He had really good pressure numbers, but he's just kind of a 1-year starter. But they've had a lot of good defensive tackles come out of Texas recently, so it might be something where he's just kind of hidden, behind good depth rather than reasons for that. So he's on that, and then of course they could go running back. I mean, maybe Brashard Smith. I know he's a favorite of this podcast, many on that, and many people maybe they just decide to, they don't want to miss out on him and go early. And of course, who knows? Maybe they don't even pick tonight. Maybe tonight's the night that they they trade back. I mean, they still only have 3 picks, so you'd think that they want more. But Kwesi keeps talking about how, if he can pick 4 impact players, and that's where their board sits, that he's more than happy to do that. And you also have to remember they're super invested in the UDFA market, and they're going to be very active Saturday night. They have a ton of spots to fill. They use a lot of their 30 visits on guys that probably make more sense for the UDFA. Someone like Donovan Edwards, Michigan running back, might make sense. That someone that they brought in who might not get drafted because of how deep this class is. So, there's any number of directions they can go. But I'll just really be curious if they decide to stick and pick tonight, or if they say, okay, this is our last big opportunity to pick up some draft capital. Let's trade down and just lean on day 3.
Or, I mean, no one's ever really talked about it, but like, do you trade up? Right? When you think about if someone starts to fall a little bit and you got pick 97 in your back pocket, you're getting a 3rd rounder next year for Sam Darnold, and probably a 4th rounder too. Yeah. I mean, I heard the rumors before that maybe they'd be interested in moving those 26 picks to make some noise in this draft class. I mean, if if Caleb Johnson is falling and he's at the beginning of the third round, do you package something to move up and get that running back of the future? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see it all unfold.
If they were to do that, that'd be the clearest signal yet that they are all in for this year. And I would imagine that it would have to be someone in which they think could be a instant contributor, right? Because why would you? So I'd almost feel like it would have to be someone either running back, although they have those two guys. I could see, going back to my previous stance, but I would say I could almost see a wide receiver.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
It's got to be someone that they think could come in and just make an instant impact, or else why would they? Would be the importance of getting that player this year as opposed to next year, unless it's just such a unique circumstance. So
yeah,
I'm skeptical, but it would be fun. I would be very excited to see it. So
I would be extremely hyped for that to be the case. We'll have to hop on. I mean, if they pick tonight, we'll get a show rolling again for all the picks this weekend, just to kind of chit chat about them. But yeah, man, we got our O-line set finally, so I feel pretty good about that.
I mean, how long has this been a problem for? I mean, really, when's the last time that you felt
2009?
Yeah, I think that might be it. Would you felt confident in the offensive line? Now they got to all stay healthy, but other than that, like, this is probably the best situation that we've seen in such a long time. So kudos to Kwesi and Kevin for prioritizing that.
Yeah, and I know they're busy right now. They're getting ready for the second round and third round of the NFL draft. So, I think that's all we'll do for today. We'll come back later this week. But if you are listening to this episode, let us know what you think about Donovan Jackson being that first-round pick, having that offensive line solidified. Were you excited about it? Were you not? I want to know what people think, because Twitter is such a small portion of this fan base. There's so many more of you out there that I'm just dying to hear what you guys are thinking. And secondly, what do you want us to do on day 2 and day 3? Put that in the comments as well. Like, subscribe to the show, and we'll be back later this weekend with some more analysis on whoever the Vikings decide to pick or trade, or you name it. We'll be here. So until next time, everybody, Skol Vikings.